Again, why is YouTube so dark? I don't get, maybe it's like an overlay or something. I don't know. I'm over technology right about now. I am so over it. I love it. It is my life, but I can be so over it sometimes. Okay, we're gonna restart my entire video because we're just gonna restart. So I'm streaming on all three platforms again. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna restart my whole video because apparently I know in Instagram people were struggling watching because it was going in and out. So let's get into it because I have things to do, a lot of things to do. Hey Lisa, okay. So guys, hello, how are you? Let's first start off on the right foot. My name is Genesis Dorsey. I'm a 5-foot, passionate fireball. I love business and I love ministry. I am a pastor's kid, so that's where my ministry side comes in, and then of course from there and building their communities and helping them with systems. And then though my main love is business as well. So business is where I help entrepreneurs to basically monetize their minds, take that knowledge and create product services that will help them as well build up their communities. So what happens is from time to time, I take out the time to sit down and I pick topics that are inboxed to me, sent to me. I've had a lot of questions. Of course, I'm an entrepreneur of several businesses. My main one is an agency, digital agency. And then I, of course, have 2 e-commerce businesses and, of course, my own personal brand where I do coaching and business consulting and speaking, where I travel and speak and all sorts of things. So I have experience in what I'm talking about. I definitely have experience. Hey, Shada, I got something to send you. Excited. Send you today, actually, for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really excited. And so we're going to sit down just for a little bit. I'm bad earlier, but hopefully it's better. I have some mixtures of Starbucks plus a little bit of juice that I added myself to it. Just to make it a little bit more sweet. And so just we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about today, we're going to be talking about the misconception of freedom. Okay, the misconception of freedom, because I want you to go into business, or I want you to continue in business with the emotions out of it. One of the biggest issues that I see in a lot of entrepreneurs is that they're too emotionally attached. And there's nothing wrong with emotions. Emotions are great. Feeling your customers, being connected deeper than just a product or service is amazing. But I want to remove the other emotions that we get and that we add that really has added to our misconception of what freedom is. So a lot of times when you hear entrepreneurship or you hear people talking about entrepreneurship, they talk about freedom a lot. Talk about the freedom that you get. Wise. Yeah, I know. I'm a very kind of controversial person when it comes to topics like this. Billionaires. The freedom that is expressed in their lives is not the freedom that people market. Okay. See, it's not about freedom of you doing what you want to do. The life of entrepreneurship gives you the freedom to impact people and not have the ties to hold you back to do so. That's really the freedom of entrepreneurship. The freedom of entrepreneurship really has nothing to do with you. The freedom of entrepreneurship has everything to do with the freedom to create and move without someone telling you to stop. That's the freedom that exists. All the other stuff, though, about freedom in your schedule, freedom in all this, it's a bunch of lies. So I don't want you going into business or even in business with the wrong idea right now. Because we're sitting down with people and everyone runs up to me, oh, Genesis, I just love your story. I love the things you've done as an entrepreneur. I'm so excited. And, I am leaving my job. I'm doing this. I am becoming an entrepreneur. And, I'm just so excited about the freedom that I'm going to have. And I say, whoa, hold on, stop right there. Before you get all excited, and I'm glad that you're excited. I'm glad you're excited. Tell me what you mean by freedom. Then they say, well, one of the things that I've always enjoyed about entrepreneurship and that I've seen is that I get the freedom to make my own schedule. I get the freedom to create my own life. And I'm thinking, who told you that? Well, I read it online. I saw a Facebook ad that talked about freedom, or I watched a webinar that talked about freedom. So, Genesis, I'm just so excited as an entrepreneur to have the freedom that I read about. Oh, okay. You do know that was a marketing tactic. The freedom part, but you do know that was a marketing. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't talk about it if they didn't mean it. Okay, okay, okay. Now let's backtrack because see, I'm not here to make you not love entrepreneurship. I just don't want you to quit. And a lot of people quit because they did not realize what was included in the package of entrepreneurship. You see, being an entrepreneur is not something that we just jump into. Most businesses quit usually after a 3-year run. Most of them don't make it after 3 years. Many quit in their actual first year. And I'm not to say that, oh my God, you're supposed to be a person of faith. You're supposed to believe. Yes, I'm also realistic. I'm also very about making sure my clients are prepared, making sure my audience and my community is prepared to handle the building process. Because it's the building process that takes out most entrepreneurs because most people did not understand what the freedom meant. They thought that because you can sit in a Starbucks and work, that's freedom. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. You may define, because you know at your job, maybe you couldn't work at a Starbucks and work. But going to Starbucks is not freedom. That's not, I mean, you go to Starbucks after your job when you get off of work. It's not to oh, well, I can just take out my laptop and work. Well, okay, that's great. That's awesome. But what you really need to understand is this. Freedom in entrepreneurship is really about the creation process. The freedom as business owners, the freedom that we have, again, is to create things and not have someone over our shoulder telling us to stop. We have the freedom to create and to create environments. We can hire and fire and it's more cultures where people are actually nurtured and we can control how that environment is ran. And actually, there are many C-level executives who actually have that control actually within a corporation, but they still have to abide by the rules of that corporation. Whereas a CEO or as an owner of a company, you can actually guide those things. So that's where the benefit in being an entrepreneurship comes from. That's the freedom. The freedom in business is not you doing whatever you want to do. The freedom is in creating cultures and environments. See, that's the bigger picture of freedom. So a lot of times we think that the freedom in business is for us. No, the freedom in business is for your customers and for those that you connect with in the culture that you create. That is the bigger picture. So I don't want you to jump into entrepreneurship and just think, oh, I'm going to have so much freedom. There's a lot of work. Like, how come no one talks about how lonely it is? How come no one talks about the fact that, when you get done with your 9 to 5 and as far as getting rest, you try to figure out where you can get rest. Or how come no one talks about the fact that when you're an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to balance your whole entire life as like one motion. How come we don't talk? Because see, that's not the cute thing. It's not marketable. It doesn't attract people. And for me, even though I may not get a ton of people following me, even though I do have a healthy number, I may not get 1 million people following me because I don't share that marketing of, it's going to be amazing. And like, oh my gosh, like you're going to be, oh my God. No, I don't share that. If you want to own your own business, if you want to survive as a business owner, get ready to be able to stand for a very long time. Oh, it doesn't sound motivational. It doesn't sound inspiring. I'm sorry. This is not, entrepreneurship is such a unraveling of oneself in a negative way, but it really shows you who you really are. And you have to face yourself in the mirror so many times as an entrepreneur. People do not realize how much of an exposing factor entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is like marriage. Marriage does not cover one's flaws, it exposes one's flaws. You know what I mean? Because you spend so much time with one person that one person gets to know everything that you probably covered up while you dated them, because now you're living with them. Now you become comfortable and now things become very real. That's how entrepreneurship is. It makes you become so raw to yourself. The things that you hate about yourself, you will see it in your business. You'll be like, oh my gosh. Did I just do that? Yeah, you did. Why? Because business is you. When you run a business and you talk about, oh, I have freedom to go to the coffee shop. I go to the coffee shop sometimes to work, but I'm not just like laxing the coffee shop. Oh, I'm at the coffee shop. Let me sip, sip, sip on my cup. No, okay. And then I'm like working like a mad dog, right? Now, everyone else who walks to the coffee shop, they're like, lounging. They just maybe they're coming out of their office, coming to get a cup of coffee. They sip on their Starbucks. They talk to their girlfriend. Oh, la 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 la, la la la. But me, on the other hand, because I'm an entrepreneur, I can't like lax and like be like lolly, lolly, lolly. No, I'm working because from a certain standpoint in that day, I have so many things to accomplish because I'm responsible for my paycheck. I'm responsible for how much money my business is making, what's coming in, what's going out. I'm responsible. It's not like I get a consistent paycheck. What I do like is that I have my point is that business, my work, my hustle, my dedication to my craft, all that contributes to what's coming to my bank account. So this is why before you talk to your friends who really don't go as hard in their business and they're it's so much fun. It is fun. I will tell you, it is fun. You get to be creative. You get to do a lot of amazing things. But to be extremely successful, not everyone in business is trying to be successful. Some people are in business because they just want to be known as an entrepreneur. And what I'm here to tell some of you is that I don't want you to be like some of the people that who are entrepreneurs but cut themselves short. I don't want you to be like the people who have businesses but they're lax and they don't go hard in their business and they don't hit their goals like they should. I don't want you to be like them. Now, if you want to be like them, sure, you can go hang out at Starbucks all day. You can go enjoy yourself all day. You go take cute pictures all day. That's great. That's awesome if that's what you want. But for those of us who go to win, the work is a whole lot different. It's a whole lot different. And I need us to start having conversations about how to handle the hardness of business, how to handle the stretches of business where you become so stretched that you feel like you're about to break because you're pushing yourself at a level that you've never pushed yourself at. Those are the talks that we have to have. We have to have the talks about how do I keep myself in it to win it and not lose myself in the process because I feel as if I've given all of my all and I feel like it's still not good enough. Those are the talks that we have to have. It's not about having cute talks about, oh, I love being an entrepreneur. Or here's a cute story. Here's another cute story. Cute stories don't cut it. Because cute stories don't pay the bills. Let's talk about the fact on how you were on the brink of giving up and what made you not give up. Let's talk about how you secured clientele when there was a drought in the marketplace. Those are the conversations that we have to have about business because, again, as my mentor says, so many people are not really successful in business. They are not. I don't care what you say. I've coached enough people to know this. Most people they literally shoot mediocre. First of all, they don't charge their worth. So it's like they're like here. Okay. But then we talk about how we want to be Amazon, we want to be Alibaba, we want to be the next Apple, we want to be the next this, we want to be the next that. Want to be the next those kind of businesses, those are corporations who are at a high level of execution. Okay. And in order to be those types of business, of course, those are all different types of business models as well. So, I mean, to go into those kind of industries, you have to really make sure that you're on your top as a tech individual. But what I'm trying to say is that if we're really trying to win, you have to first understand what freedom really is. Freedom is not doing what you just want to do. Because when you're in your first, second, third year of business, you don't do what you want to do. I can promise you that every successful, not mediocre, but who has been successful, I promise you, if you ask them, how were your first 3 years? You know what they're going to say? It was hard. It may have been fun, but it was a lot of work. Then you can ask them, well, in your entrepreneur, did you experience freedom? I want you to ask every single successful. This is important because I don't want, this may offend some people, but some people are business owners, but they're not successful business owners. And the reason why is because they've always shot low. When you shoot low, it doesn't really do too much for your entrepreneurship. You need to start shooting high to stretch yourself to really become an entrepreneur. You're not an entrepreneur when you shoot low. Entrepreneurs, we know that everything's on the line every single day, and we're here to hit a certain goal. So this is not about you being mediocre. So for those of us who have been successful, I myself, and I'm not bragging, but I'm here to tell you, I worked my butt off to be successful. I worked my butt off to be successful. My butt off. literally to be. What I can tell you is this. I did not experience quote unquote freedom as people market. What I experienced was a hard work for myself. I found myself in my business because I'm telling you, like I said before, business will expose you to yourself so hard that you will face yourself in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, that is really who I am. Yeah. It showed me. It dragged me like crazy. It taught me about how I was creative, but my creativeness needed to be controlled in an element that could be sold. Because, you know, I used to be like many people who bragged about being a hustler, but none of my hustles could be built up as corporations. You know, so it's cute. You know, being a hustler is cute until you realize that you can't compete with corporations as a hustler. You know, you have to be a CEO at some point. You have to grow up. And so I had to pick a business and focus on it. You know, I had to actually, in this thing, I had to focus. I had to pick a business and focus on it. I talk about this all the time. How to grow that one business. And it's just like, as I said before, it's just like children. You have to, and I'm not a mother, but I know what hard work is like in building a business. And I was committed to building that first business, and that business grew. And then from that business, I grew other businesses. And now I can have the say so that I can, you know, help other businesses. And so this is why I'm saying all this, is because I don't want any of you to go into this thinking somehow that entrepreneurship is cute. Like somehow because it's written in pink and glitter as a woman, you think it's cute. Or just because it looks manly and hustle, you know, you think that it's cute. That's not what this is about. So if you got into this because you thought it was cute, you got into this because you thought it was going to give you freedom, think again. Rethink, pray. And I'm not here to scare anybody, but I'm here to wake people up so that you don't struggle when you get in this, and so that you're prepared in your mind to handle what you're going to go through. Entrepreneurship right now, I'm going to tell you, it's lonely. So if you thought coming in this business, you thought you're going to have a ton of friends, that's not how it works. You'll have a ton of acquaintances and business connections and partnerships, but friends, no. Why? Because entrepreneurship is a type of industry, it's a type of place, it's a type of mindset where you have to learn how to become singularly focused because you're actually building a company. It's different when you're not building a company because you don't have the responsibilities. Well, I'll put it like this, you won't have the same responsibilities. It's not that entrepreneurship is better, it's just that it's a type of track that requires some things that something does not, whereas a 9-to-5 requires some things that entrepreneurship does not. But if you're going to jump on the entrepreneurship track, you have to understand what's included, and you have to be prepared in your mind to handle. What do you do when no one believes inside you, when people are not going to be at every event that you host and you'll be there by yourself? What do you do when some of your friends don't actually agree with where you're going and how you're living and where you're shooting, and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, no longer? What do you do when you're working and grinding by yourself, and when you look around and you look up and you're like, oh, I just wish I had some people to hang out with, everyone's asleep? So what we talk about is the cute stuff to make you come in. You know, a lot of coaches and a lot of marketing people talk about, oh, come into freedom. Let me tell you something. The freedom that you experience is in yourself. It's in building a company that you can pass down a legacy. It's about building cultures and communities where people that you hire can be influenced. Freedom is not the same thing as what people tell you. So the first thing I would tell you is you need to redefine freedom. We must redefine what freedom looks like in entrepreneurship, because I cannot tell you the number of people who've committed suicide. I cannot tell you the number of people who've given up. I cannot tell you the number of people who have quit and said, you know, I don't think this is for me. And it's not that they just never prepared themselves for what was coming down the road. So if I could give you any advice, because I don't want you to be like, oh my God, did she just basically tell me I should not be an entrepreneur? No, I did not. But let me give you some tips, some insight on how to prepare yourself for what's coming. The first thing is you have to learn how to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, let me just give me a second. Okay, cool. You have to learn how to love yourself in business. You have to love yourself a lot. You do. Because in business, you're going to have to realize how to really be strict on your resources. Because when you're building a business, it needs all the money that it can get. And you have to become more frugal minded. You have to definitely become more frugal minded. So you don't want to be a person that is in constant comparison mode, because a lot of entrepreneurs, what they'll do is when they look at other people and how they're living, they try to spend or compare themselves. and you will go downhill going that way. So I would tell you is, if you're going to survive as a business owner, love yourself. You have to get to know yourself. With this, here's the second thing. You have to have self-awareness. Many business owners are not aware of their strengths or their weaknesses. And too many entrepreneurs, again, because of this the way that we make entrepreneurship cute, it's funny. Entrepreneurship is cute to a certain level. It's cute if you're like a team member, you just get into entrepreneurship. But to actually be an owner, an operator, CEO, it's not about it being cute. It really isn't. It's about making money. I don't care what anyone says. It's about making money. It's not about being broke. It's about making money. And so you have to make sure that you love yourself so that you don't misconstrue what money does and how money should be used. Because when I have the right mindset, I know that money is just a tool. But when I do not have the right mindset and I do not love myself, I think that money is a way of value, or it's a way to buy one's affection, or it's a way to show someone's worth. So you have to first really love yourself before you get into entrepreneurship. The second thing, I guess you could say the third thing, is the first thing we said was love yourself. Second thing is to be self-aware, to know your weaknesses, to know your strengths. A good entrepreneur never plays their weaknesses. We never play our weak hand. Never. Never. I don't care what anyone says. People say, you got to work on your weaknesses. I don't know. I know what my weaknesses are, and I make sure I stay away from them. It's like what someone says, sometimes the best way to play is to not play at all. Sometimes the best move to make is no move. So if you know that you should not be around alcohol because you know that you become someone who becomes basically an alcoholic, guess what? You don't get around alcohol. If you're someone who has, and this is very true for entrepreneurship, because I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why most people don't realize. When you get into entrepreneurship, it is so tough sometimes and lonely that you're going to want to feel like you need to de-stress. And either help your business or wreck your business. So if you go out here and act a fool one day and just go silly, guess what? That's going to harm your business. You may not think so immediately, but it will. So you have to learn how to have self-control and even how you de-stress. That's why you never should play your weak hands. Never put yourself in a place that you know you cannot control. Now, I mean that from one sense, because in another sense, you should definitely let God control, especially if you're religious like me. I'm a Christian. So I believe that I should allow God to have control, but I also allow him to have more control by never putting myself in a position where my flesh has full reign, where I cannot control things. So that means that as entrepreneurs, we do not put ourselves in environments where we cannot be disciplined or show. Okay, so you have to be aware of yourself. You have to be very aware of yourself. Very aware. Why? Because you have someplace that you're going. Let's. I'm almost done. Let's wrap this up. I've been about 23 minutes, so we'll be done in about 25. So we'll be done in about 2 minutes. So the other thing is, if you're going to survive in entrepreneurship, you have to realize that you're in this for the long haul. If you're somebody right now who is, this is one of my biggest issues with entrepreneurship that I think. I've seen this in MLM, direct sales. I've seen this in just consulting, coaching. We have to stop the fast money technique. I know that it makes people jump and join people's teams, and it makes people, want to become coached by some people because they want to be entrepreneurs. But guys, fast money does not build a business. Fast food, if you're going to own a franchise, that's different. But fast money, the Bible actually talks against it. If you're trying to get into this because you need to make an extra video about whatever. That's not the reason to get into this business. It's not. But to elevate, it's more than just you making a short amount of money. You have to be in this thing for the long haul. And too many people are in this because they want to make some quick bucks. That's where the hustler mindset has to get off the train. You use the hustler mindset for your work ethic, but you do not use your hustler mentality for your work lifestyle, okay? So I use it for my grind to keep myself, okay, I got to get this work done. That's what the hustle is for. But the hustle is never for how you think, because the hustler mindset is never good. You need to have a CEO mindset, but a hustler work ethic. That's how I always say it. Because what the problem with so many people is that you're trying to make fast money, but fast money never makes old money. It's the old money that has built mansions all over this world, has built philanthropy programs and all this. You know what built that? hard work that was built by solid business methods or ideas. Okay. So if you're going to make this, if you're going to really make this work, don't plan for a moment, plan for a lifetime. Okay. So I don't just sit down because, oh, I need to make some money real quick. Let me start a business. That's not how this works. No, because you should be in this thing to build something that you could pass down to a family member, pass down to somebody, but you don't just build something because you need some extra money. And that's where the hustler mindset has always come in. It has ruined people. I don't care whether you agree or not. It's the truth. It ruins people. And they start off really excited because like, oh, I'm gonna make that. No. You know what I'd rather teach people? Listen, before you jump into this, before you get into this whole whatever it's, because I've coached direct sales leaders, I've coached MLM, pretty much the same thing, MLM leaders. I've coached coaches who are business. Don't tell, as you're building your teams, your pipelines, don't tell these people the sugar-coated stuff because your pipeline will be weak. Tell them the truth. Tell them what's going to keep them so that when they face the quitting door, they'll walk away from the quitting door. Don't give them a reason to leave. Give them a reason to stay. And what that reason should be is, listen, you're not just building for now. You see, that's what followers do. Followers build for a moment. You know why? Because of fear. But leaders, they build for a lifetime. Because they know that what they're building will stand. Hustlers build like sand. This is so important, guys. Listen to me. Hustlers build sand. They build on sand. But leaders build on rocks. We build on bricks. We build on a strong foundation. And the thing about it is that it takes longer to build a brick home than it does to build a sandcastle. And we have to stop becoming so addicted to building things that will wash away, that we'll get, oh, it's exciting now, but then it becomes boring next week. We have to teach people how to build things that are built on rock, because yes, it may take longer. Yes, you may not be an instant millionaire overnight, but guess what? You're going to build something that's so firm. You're going to build a business that has such wisdom and has acute knowledge and is adaptable to the market that when the storms hit your business, you won't be scared and you won't be like, oh my God, I'm going to quit. You're going to be like, I knew this time was coming. I knew the storm was coming. See, when you're somebody, and we're about to end, but when you're somebody who's willing to stand for a long time, you won't be standing for very long. Listen, if you're willing to stand in this thing forever. I like how a pastor put it one time. He said, if you're willing to stand forever, you won't have to stand for too long. Why? Because for you'll realize that time is not about time here. It's about striking at the right moment. It's not about, oh my God, I've been working day in and day out. It's about us being dedicated to a mission, to a purpose, to a vision. And so what I tell business coaches, what I tell entrepreneurs, what I tell entrepreneurs all the time is, listen, if you got into this for a moment, you won't last. But if you got into this thing for a lifetime, you'll be here forever. So what I would just want to encourage you guys with on this, I want you to go back to your vision and I want you to ask yourself a few questions. The first question is this vision built for now or is it built for down the road? How will your business survive 5 years from now? Are you looking at where the market is going? Are you looking at customer behavior? Are you looking at how your customers interact with your products? What can be improved? How can you stay in the game? One of the greatest things about being a business owner is that you're like a player on the court. You're like a player with a basketball. You can switch it whenever you want to. That's one part of the freedom. It's not the freedom that we think, but it's the freedom to take a product or to take a service and be able to change it and mold it like clay to please or to offer a solution to the customer base. That you have to want to be somebody who's willing to be adaptable. Again, because you're not someone on a magazine that they're launching in a couple weeks. And I told them this is relatable to what we're talking about. I said, I'm glad you launched this magazine. She said, oh yeah, I'm excited. I said, so how is this going to match 3 years from now? How's this going to work 3 years from now? Well, I think that everyone's going to read my magazine, and I think that I said, okay. I said, so when we look at the market right now and how people read magazines and what the popular people are doing, how are they building their platforms right now? And she said, well, and there was like a pause. And then I asked her, I said, are you building this magazine because you just want to have a magazine, or are you building a magazine that will last? So then she says, well, so let's look at the people who are lasting right now. And I said, I don't want you to look at the Christians. I said, I want you to look at the Christian. Now, they may be Christians or not, But I want you to look at the overall winners of this game, because you don't just want to be, you want to win. This is so important. Some of us have gotten so locked up on purpose that we've forgotten about winning as well. Purpose wins. This is very important. Purpose wins. And of course, winning in the kingdom or as a Christian is a little bit different than most people. But the problem is that we have become so locked up in purpose that we forgot about the market. We forgot about how to survive as well. Because, we love God. We love him. Maybe you're not spiritual, but, we love about the purpose thing. Okay, but how about adapting to the market? So I said, let's look at who's winning. How are they building their platforms? What do their platforms look like? How are they building up their viewership? What are they doing to obtain more funding? What are they doing to obtain more capital? So we begin to sit down and pour out. And it's funny because she said this thing. This is why I'm saying this. This is what she said. I thought was so powerful. She said, Genesis, she said, I'm so glad my business. She said, because if you did not, I would have been building a business where, yeah, people would have liked it, but I wouldn't be making no money. And I said, see, the thing about this is what I was telling her. I said, see, the thing about this is this. I said, being an entrepreneur is just not about having a title or saying that you are a creator, because there are too many broke creatives, too many broke leaders. And while it's great, while it's awesome, we have to go with the flow of the marketplace. You have to understand where people are going. So you got to build a business that is built for down the road. Your business should be adapting every year. If you're someone who uses technology or uses whether it's online platforms, you should be staying up on those platforms. You should be looking at your competition. And the thing about it is that a lot of times we look at our competition on our level. No, you need to look at what's on the next level. You need to see, okay, what are they doing to achieve what they've achieved, and you need to see how do we get more users? How do we obtain more following? How do we increase our capital and our worth? How do we increase our evaluation? These things matter. These things matter so much because, like I said before, you're only in business for three things: quit, sell, or keep. You're either going to give up, you're either going to sell the company, or you're going to keep the company. But no matter what you're talking about, it should be growing. Last but not least, I'm going to ask you this other question. We're going to be done. I promise you. When it comes to what you're building, are you building something? This is so important. Oh my God, I wish I could ask this 500 people right now in one room. Are you building something that people want? Don't know. Say, of course I'm building something. No, I'm not done. And something that they'll want for a very long time. This kind of goes back with the first question, actually. Okay, because again, if you're building business for now and versus building business down the road, are you building something that people will want and something they will want for a very long time? Okay, and then if you say, well, I'm not sure if they'll want it down the road, or well, that means that you have to adapt the product accordingly. Okay, let me ask this one more question. I promise. I'm gonna ask one more question. I've said this before to people. Let me ask this one more question. In your mind right now, in your mind, you don't have to be spiritual, don't have to be religious. A lot of people follow me are not religious. So in your mind right now, how do you see your business? Do you see your business as small? Because a lot of small business owners, they think very small. Okay. Or do you see your business as uncappable? In other words, there's no limits. When you build a very successful business, stop building based upon how you see your business right now. You need to look at the bigger vision. You walk according to the bigger vision, not the small one. If I want big things, I have to play big. If I want big contracts, I have to play for big contracts. So that means that I'm not going to shoot for small. Now, I may start off small, but I need to be strategic so that my small becomes big at some point, right? So how do I connect my dots from, I may be a small business owner, but I don't think small. That's the other thing about me. You guys have to realize that being a small business owner, when they market you as a small business owner, it really has a lot of things really to do with your size. Really, it's really about the size of your company, not so much how much money you make. Because you can be a small business owner making multi-millions, just so that you guys are aware, right? So a small business owner really has some people in your company, but there are many small business owners who make millions of dollars. Okay, so a lot of times you're playing small because you think small. Let me tell you something. The future of your business is in your hands. Even today, the future of your business is in your hands. If you want to have bigger contracts, go for the bigger contracts. Figure out what it takes to get them. But no longer this complaining about how things are not in your favor, how things are not working out for your good, or how somehow, you just keep on losing. Listen, the winning hand in business has nothing to do with someone giving you a winning hand. You get a winning hand. You go get the winning hand. You go get the cards that you need. Oh, you don't have the cards that you need? Go get the cards that you need. Oh, well, I don't have the money that I need. Well, go stack some more money. It may take you a long time, but at least you'll have the money. We cover so many. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. Listen, in business, it's all about creativity. If you're not somebody that's, I always talk about this. If you're somebody that if I get a really, 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 really cheap grocery store and they would take that dollar and they would break that dollar down and make a full meal. Okay, so you have to figure out what kind of entrepreneur will you be? Will you be the one that's complaining because things are not in your hands? Or will you go find the winning cards, go snatch them, put them in your hands and say, I'm ready to play? You have to be like that every single day that I wake up. I have to create my winning hand. It's not up to someone else. It's not up to my clients. It's not up to anyone. It's up to me to create the winning hand. Now, I am religious and I am spiritual. I believe that as a Christian that God has given me the ability, but God does not hand you. He's not like, okay, I'm going to make sure you do no work. No, because faith is believing in what God said that you were. So if you believe that you're a winner, and you may not even be a Christian, but if you believe that you're a winner, you believe that you have the ability to go create some great things, then you go out there and you create what you want to create. You never allow someone to limit you. You go out there, you get your winning hand, and you go money, you stack your money, you invest your money, you grow your money, you spend time with your family. When you build a good foundation, then that's where the quote unquote kind of freedom comes into play. Now that I have, the ability to now make the money in the way that I make it, I have freedom to sleep a lot more and to enjoy myself. But because I'm also growing, there's still that work ethic that I still have to grind every day. You still got to grind, you still got to work. But that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, and that's what it includes. So hopefully this gave you an eye-opener on what this thing is not. This is not about freedom. Business is not about freedom. It's about, if anything, it's about the freedom to create great things that helps the world. But it's not about you doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That's not the kind of freedom that comes with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about leading the ship. Leadership is about leading the ship to the other side. And because you're the leader, you have to know what comes with being a leader. It's not a bragging title. It's a working title. Okay? So love you guys so much. Remember, followers build their businesses on sand. But then what do leaders do, guys? What do? We build our houses. We build our houses on rocks, on bricks. We build them on a good foundation. So make sure that you're somebody this week that's not building your business on a shallow foundation. We don't build thin castles. We don't do that. We build things that last a lifetime. So we also said, too, what followers build for a moment. What do leaders do? We build for a lifetime. That's what we said. So be in it to win it. And like I said before, if you're willing to wait forever, you won't have to wait for too long. So guys, see you guys later. Bye. See you guys. Bye.